Hi and welcome back to Rideshare by the UK YouTube channel. My name's Kevin and today I'm on my first trip for OTS airport transfers. I've signed up with OTS. It took about 2 weeks to complete the things. You send in your application, you send in a copy of your operator's licence. You have to be an operator, they don't take just drivers. And then they send you a verification code in the post. When you apply for that verification code, you get given access to a dashboard, a website-based dashboard, and they also send email notifications to you of any port transfers coming up that's suitable for you. Now, for a very quick overview, I will say there's lots of work, very poor pay. But, you know, if you're looking for work just to fill in the quiet times, then I think OTS is actually quite a good one. Pay-wise, it's about the same as Uber in most situations. Because what you've got to consider is that with Uber, you do your mileage and then they will refund you any car parking fees. With OTS, the price you bid has to include that. So when you take that into account, it's about the same sort of price as an Uber job to the airport. Now, I got access to the panel about mid-morning yesterday, and I must have had about 20 jobs sent to me since then through email, and also showed up on the dashboard. So there is lots of work. They're all fairly relevant to me. They're mainly sort of Bristol airports coming back to Cardiff region or South Wales region. And there's been a few jobs from outside of the region but coming into Cardiff Airport. So it's acceptable for the sort of jobs that they've been sending me. They haven't sent me stupid ones like Heathrow to London or anything like that. It's all been relevant. What I've noticed is that the very long jobs are very poorly paid. You're talking of less than £1 a mile after you've taken off your car parking charge. Now, I say that because they had a Luton airport to Cardiff, and by the time you paid off, as long as the plane arrived on time and you only paid your minimum short-term car parking fee, then the mileage was less than £1 a mile. No good. So obviously I don't do that. The other thing I've noticed is that it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is, even if it's out of hours, they still expect the same rates. So there was a job at 10 to 11 on a Friday night from Bristol Airport to Cardiff, and they were looking for the same sort of money than if it was at 11 o'clock in the morning. Friday night, weekend, 11 o'clock, you're not going to go running to Heathrow to Bristol Airport for £75. Not where you can make more than that running around Cardiff with Uber. So that's what you've got to look out for. So I'd say out of those 20 odd jobs, I've been on about 5 of them because I just wasn't going to do the rest, and I got 3. So I've got this one today, which is a Bristol Airport to Cardiff, £75. Then I've got 2 on Monday. Got a Monday morning pick up at Bristol Airport to Cardiff for £75, and then I'm picking up the same guy on the evening or late afternoon and taking him back to the Hilton at Portbury Docks for £55. So not too bad for daytime, but I wouldn't be doing that sort of work out of hours. I'd want a supplement for out of hours work, which OTS doesn't give. And I'll sort of give you a brief explanation how OTS works. Now, don't forget, OTS works with operators, so you have to be an operator driver, not just a driver. They won't sign you up without your operator's licence. So on the email they send, and they send them in batches of about 3 a day. I've noticed you get batches 3 times a day of jobs. and you have 3 hours in which to put in your bid before that job closes, and OTS chooses which bid to take. Now, when you do the bid, it gives you a rough idea of where you're picking up from at the airport, and a rough idea of where you're going to go to, a postcode. It tells you the mileage, and then at the bottom it says put in your bid. We estimate bids of X amount or below. So you'll say from Bristol Airport to say Cardiff, we expect bids of £75 or below. So you put in £75, or you could bid £70 or something like that. And then you send it off, and after about 3 and 4 hours, you'll know if you've been successful or not. And then you get sent a job confirmation and all the full details of what it is. It's mainly meet and greet. You have to wear a tie. I've not got a tie on today. This is my first job. I don't have a tie. I found out this morning. I thought I'd bought them, but I must have got rid of them during the move, of the house move. So I popped in a couple of shops, Sainsbury's and Tesco's, on the way, and had a look in their clothing section. Nobody sells ties anymore. So I've ordered one off Amazon, which should be with me tomorrow. So Monday I should have my ties. Now, you're expected to meet them at the terminal in the side. They don't want you calling them to arrange them to call when they've come through baggage. Like, you've got to be there with a sign at the terminal, which is fine, fair enough, but do realise that you have car parking charges to pay when you put in your bid, so understand that, because you'll lose that off your bid. Fairly simple, really. You submit your invoices once a week on a Thursday. I think it's Thursday morning, and then they're processed on the afternoon, and you get the money to your bank. But we'll find out what happens later, because I haven't put in any invoices yet. You can do it through your dashboard, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just work off the dashboard of OTS on the website. You submit invoices for work up to Tuesday of the week that you submit your invoice for. You can't submit it for the Wednesday or the Thursday of the Thursday one, because they want to give a good couple of days for customers to raise any issues, which is fine. Most places you can't do that. It's not like Uber where you can do immediate cash outs, and I have no problems with doing that. So we'll see what happens on Thursday, next Thursday, when I submit for these 3 jobs. I'm not going to do a lot of jobs until I sort of work my way through the system and see how reliable they are on paying. Quite sure they're okay, but you never know. So I don't know what the system is. I want to know what the system is before I sort of heavily give out the credit to them. But yeah, it looks okay. OTS does. I'm now getting signed up with Minicab IT. I've got all the documents up there. They've all got the documents already. I've just got to arrange an onboarding telephone hangout call through Google with them. So once that's done, they can get me on their system, and we can look at some of the work coming from Minicab IT. But at the moment, it's OTS. They've been established for about 10 years. They obviously do a lot of advertising on Google, which is why probably they take quite a big chunk of money. But I'm not bothered about what my suppliers take. What I worry about is what I take. So I think you have to do a bit of cherry picking. You have to. You've got 3 hours in which to decide on whether the job's worthwhile doing or not. So there's no reason why you should accept jobs and then decide you're not going to do it because it's not worth the money. I don't think you'll last very long with OTS if you play that game with them, because you've got 3 hours in which to do your figures and make your decision. So when the job comes through, you can either put in a bid, or you can just reject the job, or you can just ignore it. So yeah, I've had about 20 jobs come through, bid on about 5 of them, and I've got bid accepted for 3. So I'm not bidding on any out of hours stuff. I'm not bidding on any really low paying stuff. I'm just bidding on stuff which I think is okay. It's nowhere near as much as I charge on a personal job, but that's because OTS have to make their profits as well. So obviously what they charge customers is going to be a lot higher than what they're going to pay me. But in order to fill up some days, I think it's going to be fine. I've had jobs coming through which are booked for March, which I haven't bidded on. I'm only going to bid on stuff 2 or 3 days in advance because I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I do this job for the flexibility, so I don't want to be booking up jobs 2 or 3 months in advance and then get to the time and think, well, I don't really want to do it because I want to go fishing, or the weather's nice and I want to take the missus out for a day out and a meal. So I only go 2 or 3 days in advance on what I've been done. But at the moment, it looks good. So for me, at the moment, initial impressions is it's a thumbs up for OTS, and I'd recommend you getting if you haven't got your operator's licence and you want to do your own airport transfers, then OTS is a good reason to get your operator's licence. It needn't cost that much to get one, and if it's only you or maybe you and your wife doing it, you don't need planning. So it's only when you get 3 or more cars that you need to get planning permission. So just for a sole operator, it's well worth thinking about getting an operator's licence. In Newport it costs £1,000 for a licence which lasts for 5 years, so that's £200 a year. I've more than made that back already in just the first couple of months. It's not expensive when you look at it in that respect. Big upfront cost, but you still get your money back. So that's it. Thanks for watching. It's a big thumbs up at the moment for you OTS on this review. So happy driving. Please like, subscribe and share. And until next time, take care and happy profits. Well, here's some bonus footage for you. Let's do the figures on that job. Friday afternoon. So will I be doing another OTS bid for a Friday afternoon job? No, I don't think I will. I mean, particularly bad motorway traffic on the M4 anyway on a Friday afternoon. And tomorrow we've got the Six Nations, which made it even worse. So let's run through the figures and see how profitable that job was. So I bid £75 on it, which was the recommended amount. The plane came in about 20 minutes early. So I left here at just after 2. Left Newport just after 2. To get me to Bristol Airport for half past 3. There was a bit of traffic getting down to the airport. The airplane landed at 20 past 3 instead of 20 to 4. So I parked up at a short stay, went in and waited for them, and they came out fairly quickly. Came out at about 10 to 4. So we got back on, came back to Cardiff, didn't get to Cardiff until 6:15. There was that much traffic. And now I'm back in Newport for 7:15. And I left just after 2. So that's just under 5 hours. So let's do the figures. First of all, £75 was what I bid and got. Subtract £6 for the car parking at Bristol Airport for pickup. Fortunately, I managed to get in within the half hour. If it had been longer, it would have been, of course, more expensive. So knock off £6, giving me £69. Now, I normally use about £15 worth of fuel in a return trip to Bristol Airport. So that brings it down to £54. £54 for almost 5 hours. So you really are talking just national minimum wage profit. And that's before you start looking at things like holiday pay and sick pay. Right, I just want to quickly butt in here because I forgot to add on my car expenses. Now, I rent my car for £220 a week. So divide that over, say, 40-hour week. It were just over £5 an hour. So £25 for that 5-hour job in car expenses. So let's go through that, adding up and subtraction again. £75 for the job I got. Take off £25 for the car expenses, brings me down to £50. Take off £15 for fuel, that brings me down to, what, 50, 45, £35. Take off the £6 car parking, and that brings me down to £29. £29 profit for a 5-hour job. I have to check that. Let's get the calculator out, just in case my mental arithmetic is a little bit bad. 75 minus 15 minus 25 minus 6. Yeah, £29 profit for 5 hours work. Less than £6 an hour. So it really was quite bad traffic. There was also traffic in Bristol because there was an incident at the suspension bridge, so they closed the road underneath it, if you know what I mean. So that was all closed. So that added to the travel time as well. So about £10, maybe about £10.20 an hour I made on that job. Not good. Less than minimum wage. And you get no contribution towards holiday pay and sick pay like you do with Uber. The other thing is, being Friday afternoon, Uber is busy on a Friday afternoon in Newport. Let's have a look. I started at 1:45 up until about 2:10. No, until about 2:05. And in that an hour, 20 minutes, I did £28.62 on Uber. Friday afternoons, I'm going to do £25 an hour without a hassle. So if I'd have stayed in with Uber and not done that job in 5 hours, I'd have done £120 instead of £75. So I shan't be bidding on any more work that involves Friday afternoon rush hour. I'll try a few bits on some work that doesn't, maybe midweek rush hour and see if that makes any difference. But as things stand, but this is what you learn. You've got to try, you've got to see what happens, and then you work your figures. And if the figures don't work, you don't do it again. So I presume I'm going to be really looking at OTS for that early week work when Uber is quite quiet, and I shan't bother with it on the weekends when Uber is really busy. Because if all you make is 10, 20 an hour, stick with Uber. You really do need to stick with Uber. But that's it. That's the figures done. I've got a few more jobs that I've bid on. That's coming up on Monday, so we'll do the figures on Monday and see how it works out on the Monday. But it's just extra work, really, and it reduces your need to rely on Uber. But Uber definitely pays better. So make that a note. If you go for OTS, don't expect to make more money than Uber. You won't. But that's it. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe and share. Until next time, make that profit.